John Wick 2 was yet another sequel I was eagerly awaiting for. The first one was so unexpected and turned out to be an exceptional film, and since then I have been eagerly awaiting the follow-up. The second movie is another shining example of action cinematography and what it can be. Just because a sequence is an action sequence doesn't necessarily mean it can't be presented well or framed nicely. John Wick 2, like the first one, proves this time and time again, with its beautiful flowing action sequences that communicate very clearly what is going on. Unlike a lot of modern blockbuster films, it seems like a lot of time and care went into these scenes. The choreography was well learned, and there was no need to hide that behind cut, 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 cut. Some of the plot points in John Wick 2 were just absurd. Particularly towards the end of the film, one of the things I liked about the first one was its believability. Even the most outlandish ideas were presented in a way that made them seem like they could exist in the real world. And I understand that it is a film and doesn't necessarily need to be realistic. But the film needs to decide whether it is or it isn't, and stick to expressing itself that way and doing it well. Another film with this problem is Now You See Me. And I'm sorry, John Wick 2, I just don't buy that the entire population of New York City is made up of assassins. The motivation for John Wick in the first one was powerful, relatable, and emotional. His motivation in the second one isn't there, and he is in fact forced into the predicament he finds himself in, and it just isn't as emotive. In the first one, I was so emotionally invested, I was downright angry at his enemies, which is exactly as an audience member where you want to be. I appreciate the fact that Chapter 2 was not just a carbon copy of Chapter 1, but that's definitely a feeling that I missed. The John Wick lore is fascinating. The introduction of the hotel in the first one kind of piqued the internet's curiosity, and people were pleading for it to have its own film. And in a way, they got it, because this one goes a lot deeper into the lore and the world that John Wick lives in, which was nice to see, although it did border on the ridiculous sometimes. I'm giving John Wick Chapter 2 a 6, which is a credit. John Wick 1 came across as an action film made by talented people who just love making films. A lot of care was taken and the product was exceptional. The second has that same vibe, but falls short on some of the areas where John Wick 1 prevailed. However, the film has that great cinematography and unique story that set the first one apart from the other films of its time. Anyway, that's what I thought of John Wick Chapter 2. You can agree or disagree, feel free to let me know down below. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe to this channel, do all that jazz, and until next time.